back. For those who are wondering what comes first, my videos or Salubai's wedding, it's my videos because let's be honest, Salubai's wedding is not happening. Wait, you didn't laugh at that joke? Let's try that again, shall we? For those who are wondering what comes first, my videos or Salubai's wedding, it's my videos because let's be honest, Salubai's wedding is not happening. Wait, so you didn't laugh that time either? Even when I added the laughter track and so many other people were laughing in the background? So you're telling me a bad joke does not become better if you add a laughter track to it? So why do you laugh at this?
Where is the waitress? I'm starving. It's a buffet, man.
Here's where I win all my money back.
Or this.
एक सुपरस्टार ऐसे हैं जिनके लिए हमारा ये शो है वो घर जैसा है, क्योंकि वो अक्सर ही आते रहते हैं, कई बार तो हमसे भी ज्यादा आ जाते हैं। तो आज
Can I quickly just say that these people are literally cardboard cutouts? Like legit, no joke, straight up cardboard cutouts.
Interesting, isn't it? When you're watching an episode of The Big Bang Theory or Friends, and in the flow, you laugh at so many jokes which without the laughter track would make you puke. So then why is it that we laugh when something as simple as this happens in life? Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Gyan Sen.
Two.
The subject denies the evidence of his own eyes and yields to group influence.
The footage you see here is from a 1958 experiment by the psychologist Solomon Asch. He asked a number of people to sign up for his experiment, but in reality, only one of them was the actual test subject. The task was simple. People were asked to match lines from one card to lines on another. The only caveat was that everyone in the group except the test subject answered incorrectly on purpose. The results were quite astonishing. Over the 12 trials where the Stooges answered incorrectly, 75% of the test subject conformed to the group's opinion at least once, or on average 32% of the people conformed to the group. And over in the control set, the conforming rate was only 1%. The Big Bang Theory, the Kapil Sharma Show, Friends, all of these other situational comedies, we've all had at least one conversation where we talk about the comedic merit of the jokes used in these shows and whether or not if they were funny at all, if not outright lame. The interesting thing is all of these doubts come to us in hindsight, which is weird because we're generally pretty good at identifying if something is funny or not. Then why does it take us such contemplation to realize if something like this was not funny? The overlaying laughter track. If you notice, it's everywhere. Every single show, especially a sitcom, live comedy specials, have at least a live audience laughing to the jokes hysterically, or have an overlaying laughter track that make all the jokes seem flawless. Now sure, some of the jokes are funny, but it's unlikely that all the jokes are funny all the time to everyone. So how is it that everyone is still laughing? Or why even? Groupthink is a psychological phenomenon where people in a group have an internal compulsion to conform to what the group is doing. If the audience, live or otherwise, is laughing, then the jokes must be funny. It's a subtle way of nudging you into laughing at the jokes and liking the show. That's exactly what happened in Solomon's experiment as well. People in the group had an internal compulsion to conform to the group's opinion, even though it was objectively wrong. The interesting part is that Solomon discovered that this invisible force grows stronger with the size of the group. More interestingly, this conforming rate drops by almost 75% when that one test subject is given an ally, someone who also answers the questions correctly. Asch also discovered that the conforming rate increases with the difficulty in the task. If the difficulty of the task of matching lines were to be increased by making the lines comparable in sizes, people chose more often to trust the judgment of the crowd as opposed to themselves. Asch concluded that it is difficult for you to maintain your opinion when you're the only person having it. This leads to distortion and modification in your views, making you vulnerable to possibly agreeing to anything. Now, there are a few reasons why we behave this way. The first one obviously being that we don't like being the odd ones out. But more interestingly is the concept of the wisdom of the crowd. The idea that if a lot of people agree on something, that thing must be true, irrespective of its empirical merits. So now you might ask, what's the point? Well, think about everything that you do which involves other people. Any place where you are interacting with a group of people is a place where you might be susceptible to groupthink. Hanging out with friends, going for a movie, working in your office. All of these are very trivial but very real situations where groupthink and conformity are a very real possibility. All these seem very harmless, most of which you experience while you're in school or college. But what if we think of instances where the implications of groupthink are substantially higher? What about the elections, your views on a certain country, or an important policy decision that you have to take if you're an influential part of the government? Now, to be clear, I'm not saying that in any of those instances that we are unable to make prudent decisions, but we are definitely susceptible to what other people around us think. Now, I cannot propose a solution because, to be honest, I don't think there is one. It's part and parcel of being human. But what we can do is to consciously recognize this bias and to question its objectivity if and when it occurs. Moreover, by practicing speaking your mind, you might become that ally that someone else needed who otherwise would have conformed to the group. And that's my TLDW. We all have a tendency to become different people when we're part of a big group. That might come out in obscure ways, like laughing at something that you don't really find funny, or agreeing to something that you don't really agree with. While you may be doing so on purpose, it's important to recognize such a thing if you're not. It would do you and everyone around you a lot of good if every once in a while, when out and about in a group, you'd pause and ask yourself, would I be doing this if I were alone? What's up everyone, thank you so much for watching the third episode of Gyan Central. I also wanted to tell you that we are starting a new podcast called Gyan Central Unhinged. It's going to be up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and all the other places where you can find your normal podcasts. Me and my co-host Aditya Singh have interesting conversations with interesting people, and sometimes that just includes us. We've already had the incredible opportunity to talk to a bunch of different people from a bunch of different fields, and we hope to share that with you very soon. So stay tuned, like, share and subscribe, and follow us with the links in the description. So stay tuned, like, share and subscribe, follow us on our social media handles, link in the description, and stay tuned. I'll see you in the next one.